Welcome to Warhammer 40k 8th edition Battle Report 43, 1500 points, Tau Empire versus World Eaters. This will be the big rulebook Maelstrom of War mission Tactical Escalation, and we will be rolling for a random map deployment today. Let's take a quick look around the board at where each of the objective markers have been placed. Beginning in this 2 foot by 2 foot section, objective marker 3 has been placed right here next to this crater. In this middle 2 foot by 2 foot section, objective marker 5 has been placed right here next to this ruin. In this third 2 foot by 2 foot section, objective marker 1 has been placed right here next to this crater. Over on the other side of the board, in this 2 foot by 2 foot section, objective marker 2 has been placed right here next to this ruin. In this middle 2 foot by 2 foot section, objective marker 6 has been placed right here next to this ruin. And finally, in this 2 foot by 2 foot section, objective marker 4 has been placed right here next to this crater. And now we will roll for the random map deployment, rolling a 1, which is Spearhead Assault. And so on a roll of a 1, 2, or a 3, the Tau Empire will begin to deploy on the left side of the board, and the World Eaters will begin to deploy on the right side. On a 4, 5, or 6, it'll be the opposite, so Tau Empire deploying on the right, and World Eaters deploying on the left. And here's the roll, rolling a 4. So the Tau Empire will begin to deploy on the right side, and the World Eaters will deploy on the left. Now on a roll of a 1, 2, or a 3, the Tau Empire will begin to deploy first, and on a 4, 5, or 6, the World Eaters will begin to deploy first. Rolling a 4, so the World Eaters will begin to deploy first. We will be back after the deployment. The deployment is now finished. The World Eaters began to deploy first, and they also finished deploying first, which means that they will go first unless the Tau Empire are able to successfully seize the initiative. Let's take a quick look around the board at where each army placed all of their units. Beginning with the Tau Empire deployment, going from right to left, from the World Eaters' perspective, we have the first squad of 10 Fire Warriors controlling objective marker 1. Right behind the first squad of Fire Warriors is the first Cadre Fireblade, Storm Surge number 1. The second squad of 10 Fire Warriors. Right behind the second squad of Fire Warriors is the Warlord Commander, Storm Surge number 2. The first squad of 10 Pathfinders. This squad has the 3 ion rifles. Behind the first squad of Pathfinders is the second Cadre Fireblade, the second squad of 10 Pathfinders, and finally, the third squad of 10 Fire Warriors, with the Fire Warrior Chazui right here behind the corner. This squad is currently holding objective marker 2. Moving over to the World Eaters deployment, going from right to left from the Tau Empire perspective, we have the first squad of 10 Chaos Cultists, the second squad of 10 Chaos Cultists currently controlling objective marker 4, the Khorne Lord of Skulls, the Chaos Land Raider with the squad of 3 Mutilators and Karn the Betrayer embarked inside, the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with wings, and finally the third squad of 10 Chaos Cultists currently controlling objective marker 3. A reminder that both armies will have 8 command points available for this battle report. And for a full overview of both armies with all of the war gear that they are bringing, please check out the pregame show which was released at the beginning of the group. The link for the pregame show will be in the description down below. And because this is the Maelstrom of War mission Tactical Escalation, each army will declare a tactical objective type for the purpose of tactical priority, and both armies will choose the tactical objective type Annihilation. And so now the Tau Empire will attempt to seize the initiative looking for a 6, and they fail by rolling a 5. So let's go into World Eaters, turn 1. Going into World Eaters, turn 1, a reminder that the World Eaters have 8 command points available, and the Tau Empire also have 8 command points available. At the beginning of the turn, the World Eaters drew 1 new tactical objective card, and they drew Secure Objective 2, score 1 victory point if you control Objective Marker 2 at the end of your turn. And Objective Marker 2 is this one right here, currently being controlled by a squad of Fire Warriors. So going into the movement phase, this squad of 10 Chaos Cultists controlling Objective Marker 4 will remain still. This squad of 10 Chaos Cultists will move up to 6 inches, and they will also declare an advance. And here's the advance roll, rolling for 1 additional inch. So this squad of 10 Chaos Cultists will move up to 7 inches. The Khorne Lord of Skulls will move up to 10 inches. The Chaos Land Raider will also move up to 10 inches. The Warlord, Demon Prince of Khorne with wings, will move up to 12 inches and will also declare an advance. And here's the advance roll, rolling 2 additional inches. So the Warlord, Demon Prince of Khorne with wings will move up to 14 inches. Finally, this squad of 10 Chaos Cultists will move up to 6 inches. Going into the shooting phase, the Warlord, Demon Prince of Khorne with wings, is just over 24 inches away from any enemy models, so he will not be able to fire his Warp Bolter. The Chaos Land Raider, however, will fire the bolt gun portion of its Combi Melta at full range into this squad of 10 Fire Warriors. It will fire its Twin Heavy Bolter into the squad of 10 Pathfinders that is not in the crater, and it will fire its 2 Twin Last Cannons into this Storm Surge, beginning with 1 shot from the bolt gun from the Combi Melta at full range, hitting on 3 rerolling 1s and failing to hit. Now for the 6 shots from the Twin Heavy Bolter into the squad of Pathfinders, 6 shots hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, getting 5 hits and 1 reroll. And here's the rerolls, still failing to hit, so 5 hits total. Strength 5 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on 3s, and that is a horrible wound roll. Getting 1 wound, minus 1 AP and no cover save, so 1 6-up armor save, which passes anyways. So the World Eater's off to a very bad start. Finally, 4 shots from the 2 Twin Last Cannons, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, getting all 4 hits. Strength 9 versus Toughness 7 means wounding on 3s, getting 3 wounds and 1 fail. But the World Eaters will use 1 command point, going from 8 down to 7 for a command reroll to reroll the 1. And here's the reroll, getting a 4th wound. Minus 3 AP, so 4 up and vulnerable saves, and passing all 4 of them. Oh wow. The Khorne Lord of Skulls is going to fire everything that it has into this Storm Surge, and the World Eaters will use the stratagem Demon Forge for 1 command point, bring them from 7 down to 6. Use this stratagem in your shooting or fight phase when a Chaos Space Marine's Demon Vehicle is chosen to attack. You can reroll failed hit and wound rolls for that model until the end of the phase. So beginning with the Skull Hurler, which has D6 shots, getting 4 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling, getting 2 hits and 2 rerolls. And here's the rerolls, getting all 4 hits. Strength 9 versus Toughness 7 means wounding on 3s, rerolling, getting all 4 wounds. Minus 3 AP, so 4 up and vulnerable saves, and passing all 4 again. We have an invincible Storm Surge on our hands today. So finally, D6 shots from the Ichor Cannon, getting 6 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling, getting only 3 hits but 3 rerolls. And here's the rerolls, getting 5 hits total. Strength 7 versus Toughness 7 means wounding on 4s, rerolling, getting 2 wounds and 3 rerolls. And here's the rerolls, getting all 5 wounds. Minus 4 AP, so 5 up and vulnerable saves, passing 3 of them, only failing 2. And they will do D3 damage apiece, doing 3 damage. So this Storm Surge will fall from 20 starting wounds down to 17. Going into the assault phase, there are no charges to declare, and so going into the fight phase, there are no fights to resolve, and going into the morale phase, there are no morale checks to take. And so taking a look at the tactical objective cards, the World Eaters failed to complete Secure Objective 2, and since it is on the other side of the map in Tau Empire control, they will throw this objective card away. And so at the end of World Eaters Turn 1, the score currently sits at 0 victory points for the World Eaters and 0 victory points for the Tau Empire. Going into Tau Empire Turn 1, a reminder that the Tau Empire have 8 command points available, and the World Eaters have 6 command points available. At the beginning of the turn, the Tau Empire drew 1 new tactical objective card, and they drew behind enemy lines. Score 1 victory point if you have at least 1 unit completely within the enemy's deployment zone at the end of your turn. If you have at least 3 units within your opponent's deployment zone at the end of your turn, score D3 victory points instead. Also at the beginning of the turn, the Warlord Commander will declare Kauyon, which will affect himself, the squad of Fire Warriors right in front, both squads of Pathfinders, the Cadre Fireblade right next to the Commander, and both Storm Surges. And so going into the movement phase, all of the units just mentioned, so all of these units around here, will remain still, because they are unable to move now. This squad of 10 fire warriors will move up to 6 inches. This cadre fireblade will remain still. Finally, this squad of 10 fire warriors sitting on objective marker 2 will also remain still. Going into the shooting phase, this squad of 10 fire warriors, which is currently controlling objective marker 2, is over 30 inches away from any enemy units, and therefore will not be able to fire. This squad of 10 pathfinders will fire all of their marker lights into the Khorne Lord of Skulls. So 10 marker light shots, hitting on 4s, re-rolling thanks to the commander. Getting 4 hits and 6 re-rolls. And here's the re-rolls, getting 7 hits total. So the Khorne Lord of Skulls will go from having 0 marker lights on it up to 7. So now the second squad of Pathfinders will fire 7 marker lights into the Chaos Land Raider, and the 3 ion rifles will fire overcharge shots into the Khorne Lord of Skulls. And so beginning with the 7 marker lights, hitting on 4s, re-rolling, getting 5 hits and 2 re-rolls. And here's the 2 re-rolls, still failing to hit, so 5 hits total. So the Chaos Land Raider will go from having 0 marker lights on it up to 5. The overcharged ion rifles into the Khorne Lord of Skulls will fire D3 shots apiece, and all getting 3 shots. The 3 ion rifles will have to be done separately when resolving their hit rolls, however, because any hit rolls of 1 after rerolls will result in a mortal wound being placed on that ion rifle. So ion rifle number 1, 3 shots, hitting on 3s, re-rolling thanks to the commander, and getting to add 1 to hit rolls thanks to the marker lights, otherwise they'd normally be hitting on 4s. So 2 hits and 1 reroll, and here's the reroll. Failing to hit, but not a 1. So 2 hits to start. Ion rifle number 2, 3 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling all misses, getting 1 hit and 2 rerolls. And here's the rerolls, getting 2 hits and 1 miss, but not a 1. Finally, ion rifle number 3, 3 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling, getting 3 hits. So 7 hits total. Strength 8 versus toughness 8 means wounding on 4s, getting 4 wounds, minus 1 AP, so 4 up armor saves, passing 1 but failing 3, and they are 2 damage apiece. And so 6 damage total will drop the Khorne Lord of Skulls from 28 starting wounds down to 22. And so now the Tau will use the stratagem Focused Fire for 3 command points, bring them from 8 down to 5. Use this stratagem after a Tau Sept unit from your army inflicts an unsaved wound on an enemy unit in the shooting phase. You can add 1 to wound rolls for any other Tau Sept units from your army that target the same enemy unit this phase. And obviously this will be against the Khorne Lord of Skulls. So now the Warlord Commander will fire his 2 missile pods into the Khorne Lord of Skulls. 4 shots from the 2 missile pods, hitting on 2s, re-rolling, getting 3 hits and 1 re-roll. And here's the re-roll, getting 4 hits total. Strength 7 versus toughness 8 means wounding on 5s, but adding 1 to wound rolls, thanks to the stratagem, so actually wounding on 4s, getting 3 wounds. Minus 2 AP thanks to an advanced targeting system, so 3 5-up vulnerable saves, and failing all 3. And they will do D3 damage apiece, and they will do 6 damage total. So the Khorne Lord of Skulls will fall from 22 wounds down to 16. This squad of 10 fire warriors will fire their pulse rifles at full range into the Khorne Lord of Skulls. 10 shots, hitting on 3s, re-rolling, getting 6 hits and 4 re-rolls. And here's the re-rolls, getting all 10 hits. Strength 5 versus toughness 8 means wounding on 5s, but adding 1 thanks to the stratagem, so actually wounding on 4s, which makes a slight difference, getting 5 wounds. No AP, so 5 3-up armor saves, passing all 5. The fully healthy Storm Surge will not be able to fire its 2 burst cannons as there are no enemy units within range. However, it will fire its Pulse Driver Cannon into the fully healthy Chaos Land Raider, and it will fire its 4 Destroyer Missiles, 2 Smart Missile Systems, and Cluster Rocket System into the Khorne Lord of Skulls. And we will begin with all of the various weapons going into the Khorne Lord of Skulls, starting with the 4 Destroyer Missiles, which will hit on 3s, re-rolling thanks to the commander, and thanks to marker lights, getting 3 hits and 1 re-roll. And here's the re-roll, getting all 4 hits. And so these will do D3 mortal wounds apiece, and that is 11 mortal wounds. So the Khorne Lord of Skulls will fall from 16 wounds down to 5 left. 8 shots from the 2 smart missile systems, hitting on 3s rerolling, getting 8 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 5s, but adding 1 to wound rolls thanks to the stratagem. So actually wounding on 4s and getting 6 wounds. Minus 1 AP thanks to the advanced targeting system, so 6 4-up armor saves, passing 4 but failing 2. So the Khorne Lord of Skulls will fall from 5 wounds down to 3. And now for the cluster rocket system, 4 D6 shots, getting 14 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling, getting 7 hits and 7 rerolls. And here's the rerolls. Now getting 13 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 5s, adding 1 to wound rolls, so actually wounding on 4s. Getting 4 wounds. Minus 1 AP thanks to the advanced targeting system, so 4-up armor saves, passing 2 and failing 2. So the Khorne Lord of Skulls will fall from 3 wounds down to 1 left. And now for the Pulse Driver Cannon into the Chaos Land Raider. D6 shots, getting 3 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling, getting 2 hits and 1 reroll. And here's the reroll, getting all 3 hits. Strength 10 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 3s, getting 3 wounds. Minus 4 AP thanks to the advanced targeting system, so 3 6-up armor saves, failing all 3, and they are D6 damage apiece, and that is 14 damage. So the Chaos Land Raider will fall from 16 starting wounds down to 2 left. This squad of 10 Fire Warriors are all within 30-inch range to fire their pulse rifles into the Chaos Land Raider, which is down to 2 wounds. 10 shots hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s thanks to the marker lights, getting 9 hits and 1 reroll. And here's the reroll, getting all 10 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 5s, getting 3 wounds. No AP, so 3 2-up armor saves, passing all 3. This Cadre Fireblade is going to fire his pulse rifle at full range into the Khorne Lord of Skulls with 1 wound left. 1 shot, hitting on a 2, rerolling, getting a hit. Strength 5 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on a 5 but adding 1 to wound rolls, so actually wounding on 4, and failing to wound. The slightly wounded Storm Surge will fire 2 destroyer missiles into the Khorne Lord of Skulls, just to make sure that it's finished off. It will fire the other 2 destroyer missiles and its 2 smart missile systems into the Chaos Land Raider, which is down to 2 wounds, in order to make sure that that is finished off. It will be unable to fire its burst cannons because there are no enemy units within range. And finally, it will fire its cluster rocket system and its pulse driver cannon into this squad of 10 Chaos Cultists. And so we will begin with the 2 smart missile systems into the Chaos Land Raider. 8 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling, thanks to the commander, getting 6 hits and 2 rerolls. And here's the 2 rerolls, getting all 8 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 8 means wounding on 5s, getting 1 wound. Minus 1 AP thanks to the advanced targeting system, so 1 3-up armor save, which fails. So the Chaos Land Raider will fall from 2 wounds down to 1 left. Now for the 2 destroyer missiles into the Chaos Land Raider, hitting on 3s, rerolling, getting a hit and a reroll. And here's the reroll, and both will hit. And not that it matters, but they do D3 mortal wounds apiece for a total of 5 mortal wounds, which will of course finish off the final wound on the Chaos Land Raider, dropping it down to 0. And does it explode on a 6? And it does not. And so now the units inside will emergency disembark. And so now the Chaos Land Raider is killed off and removed. And that is First Blood. But because the units inside did emergency disembark, each model needs to roll a dice, and on rolls of 1, they are removed. And no 1s are rolled. So now for the 2 destroyer missiles into the Khorne Lord of Skulls. Hitting on 3s, rerolling, getting a hit and a reroll. And here's the reroll. Still failing to hit, but there is 1 hit with the destroyer missile. So we'll do D3 mortal wounds, not that it matters, getting 2 mortal wounds, which is obviously more than enough to finish off the final wound on the Khorne Lord of Skulls. And it is dropped down to 0. Does the Khorne Lord of Skulls explode on a 6? And it does not. And so the Khorne Lord of Skulls is killed off and removed. Now for the Pulse Driver Cannon into the squad of Chaos Cultists. D6 shots, getting 3 shots, hitting on 4s, but rerolling thanks to the commander, getting a hit and 2 rerolls. And here's the 2 rerolls, still failing to hit for 1 hit total. Strength 10 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on a 2, and it fails to wound. Finally, the Cluster Rocket System. 4 D6 shots, getting 15 shots. But the Tau Empire are going to use 1 command point, going from 5 down to 4, for a command reroll to reroll the 2. And here's the reroll, and instead of a 2, they get a 6. So getting 19 shots total. 19 shots hitting on 4s, rerolling thanks to the commander. Getting 8 hits and 11 rerolls. And here's the rerolls. Getting 12 hits total. Strength 5 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on 3s. Getting 9 wounds. Minus 1 AP thanks to the advanced targeting system, and they are not in cover, so they will not get an armor save, which means 9 Chaos Cultists will go down, leaving only the Cultist Champion alive in the squad. Finally, this Cadre Fireblade will fire a pulse rifle at full range into this newly disembarked squad of mutilators. 1 shot hitting on a 2. And it hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 4 means wounding on a 3, and it fails to wound. At the end of the shooting phase, both Storm Surges will deploy their stabilizing anchors. Going into the assault phase, there are no charges to declare, which means going into the fight phase, there are no fights to resolve. However, going into the morale phase, this cultist squad lost 9 models this turn, and the cultist champion only has a leadership of 6. And so the World Leaders will use the stratagem Insane Bravery for 2 command points, bring them from 6 down to 4. You can automatically pass a single morale test. This stratagem must be used before taking the test, so that cultist champion will stay alive. And so taking a look at the tactical objective cards, the Tau Empire failed to complete behind enemy lines, and at this point, they will throw this tactical objective card away. And so at the end of Tau Empire Turn 1, the score currently sits at 1 victory point for the Tau Empire thanks to First Blood, and 0 victory points for the World Leaders. Going into World Eaters, Turn 2, a reminder that the World Eaters have 4 command points available, and the Tau Empire also have 4 command points available. At the start of the turn, the World Eaters drew 2 new tactical objective cards, and they drew Blood and Guts. Score 1 victory point if an enemy unit was destroyed during the fight phase this turn. If 3 or more enemy units were destroyed during the fight phase this turn, score D3 victory points instead. And they also drew Defend Objective 4, score 2 victory points if you control Objective Marker 4 at the end of 2 consecutive turns. And Objective Marker 4 is this one right here, currently being controlled by this squad of Chaos Cultists. And so going into the movement phase, this squad of Chaos Cultists sitting on Objective Marker 4 will remain still. This squad of 10 Chaos Cultists sitting on Objective Marker 3 will also remain still. This lone Cultist champion will move up to 6 inches. The Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with wings will move up to 12 inches and will also declare an advance. And here's the advance roll, rolling 3 additional inches. So the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with wings will move up to 15 inches. This squad of 3 mutilators will move up to 4 inches, and they will also declare an advance. And here's the advance roll, rolling for 5 additional inches. So the squad of mutilators will move up to 9 inches. Finally, Karn the Betrayer will move up to 6 inches, and he will also declare an advance. And here's the advance roll, rolling just 1 additional inch. So Karn the Betrayer will move up to 7 inches. Finally, the World Eaters will use the stratagem Tide of Traitors for 2 command points, bring them from 4 down to 2. Use this stratagem at the end of your movement phase. If you do, pick a unit of Chaos Cultists and remove it from the battlefield. You can then set it up again wholly within 6 inches of any edge of the battlefield and more than 9 inches from any enemy models at its full starting strength. So this Cultist champion will be removed from the battlefield, and the entire squad will be brought back to life right here on the edge of the board, over 9 inches away from any enemy models, but inside the Tau deployment zone. Going into the shooting phase, this squad of Chaos Cultists will fire their auto pistols into this squad of 10 Fire Warriors. 10 shots hitting on 4s. Getting 6 hits. Strength 3 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on 4s, getting 4 wounds. No AP but +1 thanks to the Ruin, so 4 3-up armor saves. Passing 3 but failing 1. So 1 Fire Warrior will go down, leaving 9 left alive in the squad. Finally, the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with wings will fire his Warp Bolter into this squad of 10 Pathfinders. It is an assault weapon, so it can be fired even after he advanced. 2 shots hitting on 3s thanks to advancing, rerolling 1s thanks to himself, getting a hit and a reroll. And here's the reroll, getting 2 hits. Strength 4 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on 3s, getting 1 wound. -1 AP but +1 thanks to the crater, so 1 5-up armor save. which fails. So 1 regular Pathfinder will go down, leaving 9 models left alive in the squad. Going into the assault phase, there are 2 charges to declare. First will be the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with Wings, which will declare a multi-charge into this squad of Fire Warriors and this squad of Pathfinders, which means, of course, that the squad of Fire Warriors, both squads of Pathfinders, Cadre Fireblade, and Commander will all be able to overwatch. They would all be able to overwatch even if the Demon Prince only charged the Fire Warriors because of how close they all are to each other, which is why he's declaring the multi-charge. Might as well tie up 2 squads instead of just 1. And then the second charge will be from the squad of Chaos Cultists into the squad of 9 Fire Warriors in the Ruin. And so we will begin with the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne and his charge and the overwatch against him. And I think I asked this in the previous Tau Empire vs. World Eaters battle report, but as of filming this one, the question has not been answered, so I'll ask it again just in case. If it has been answered by the time this video goes public, then I do apologize about asking the same question over and over. And that question is, can marker lights be used in Overwatch? Because potentially the Tau in this Overwatch could throw 17 marker lights at that Demon Prince, which could potentially help a lot. So I will play this as if they can't, but I would like an answer to that question if anyone out there knows and can provide evidence as to why or why not they can or can't. So we'll begin with the overwatch from the commander and his 2 missile pods. 4 shots hitting on 5s and 6s, getting 1 hit. Strength 7 versus toughness 6 means wounding on a 3. And it fails to wound. The Cadre Fireblade is over 12 inches away, but less than 15, so he will be able to fire 3 shots from his pulse rifle in rapid fire range, hitting on 5s and 6s, getting 1 hit. Strength 5 versus toughness 6 means wounding on 5, and it fails to wound. The squad of 9 Pathfinders will fire next, beginning with the Pathfinder Shazwi, which will throw a photon grenade. So D6 shots, getting 2 shots, hitting on 5s and 6s, and they will get 1 hit. So the Demon Prince of Khorne with Wings will have to subtract 1 from hit rolls for this turn. Now for 5 regular Pathfinders armed with pulse carbines, and they are not at half range, so only 2 shots apiece for 10 shots total, hitting on 5s and 6s, getting 2 hits. Strength 5 versus toughness 6 means wounding on 5s, getting 1 wound. No AP, so 1 3-up armor save, which passes. The ion rifles will all fire overcharge shots, so D3 shots apiece. 2 of the ion rifles will have 1 shot, and 1 ion rifle will have 2 shots. And they will have to be done separately, because hit rolls of 1 will cause mortal wounds. So the first ion rifle with 1 shot, hitting on a 5 or 6, and it hits. The second ion rifle with 1 shot, hitting on a 5 or 6, and it misses. And now the ion rifle with 2 shots, hitting on 5s and 6s, getting 2 hits. So in total, 3 hits. Strength 8 versus toughness 6 means wounding on 3s, getting 2 wounds. Minus 1 AP, so 2 4-up armor saves, passing 1 and failing 1. And it will do 2 damage. So the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with Wings will fall from 8 starting wounds down to 6. The squad of 10 Pathfinders are all in rapid fire range, and thanks to the Cadre Fireblade, they will get to fire 3 shots apiece, so 30 shots total, hitting on 5s and 6s, getting 12 hits. Strength 5 versus toughness 6 means wounding on 5s, getting 3 wounds. No AP, so 3-up armor saves, passing 1 but failing 2. So the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with Wings will fall from 6 wounds down to 4. Finally, the squad of 10 Pathfinders, all with pulse carbines. They are all within 18-inch range, but none are within 9.5-inch range, so only 2 shots apiece for 20 shots total, hitting on 5s and 6s, getting 6 hits. Strength 5 versus toughness 6 means wounding on 5s, getting 4 wounds. No AP, so 4 3-up armor saves, passing all 4. Now for the charge range, the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with Wings needs 9 inches to make it within an inch. And he can re-roll failed charge ranges thanks to his relic, rolling a 6, which will fail, and unfortunately if he re-rolls, he has to re-roll both dice. So, the World Eaters are instead going to use 1 command point, going from 2 down to 1, for a command re-roll to only re-roll the 1. And here's the re-roll, and they will get it with the 10. And 10 inches will be enough to make it into combat with the Fire Warriors. However, he can position himself just outside the crater so that then he can pile into the Pathfinders and attack them as well in the ensuing fight phase. Now for the charge from the squad of 10 Chaos Cultists into the squad of 9 Fire Warriors. All 9 Fire Warriors are within rapid fire range, but there are no Cadre Fireblades around within 6 inches, so 2 shots apiece for 18 shots total, hitting on 5s and 6s, getting 12 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on 3s, getting 6 wounds. No AP, so 6 up armor saves, failing all 6. So 6 Chaos Cultists will be killed off, leaving 4 left alive in the squad. And so here's their charge range. Rolling only 7 inches, and they are over 9 inches away, so that will fail. And unfortunately, because the Demon Prince had to use a command point to make his charge, the Chaos Cultists will not be able to use a command point to reroll theirs. So that is a failed charge. So going into the fight phase, we will begin with the Warlord Demon Prince-Acorn with wings piling in up to 3 inches. And he is now locked in combat with both squads. So now the Demon Prince-Acorn with wings will place all of his attacks onto the squad of Pathfinders. On the charge, thanks to being a World Eater and a Demon Prince of Khorne, he will have 9 attacks with his 2 sets of Malefic Talons, hitting on 3s, re-rolling 1s thanks to himself, getting 5 hits and 4 1s. And here's the re-rolls, getting 2 more hits for 7 hits total. Strength 7 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on 2s, re-rolling 1s thanks to his Warlord trait, getting 4 wounds and 3 1s. And here's the rerolls. Still rolling 2 1s, so only getting 5 wounds. Minus 2 AP against the Pathfinders means they won't get an armor save, so that is 5 dead models. So 5 Pathfinders will be killed off and removed, leaving 4 models left alive in the squad. And now the Pathfinders will begin the attack back, first piling in, and all 4 will be able to attack. 5 attacks thanks to an extra attack from the Shazwi, hitting on 5s. Getting 2 hits. Strength 3 versus Toughness 6 means wounding on 6s, failing to wound. And now the squad of 10 Fire Warriors will pile in, and 8 of the 10 Fire Warriors are in range to fight. 9 attacks total thanks to an extra attack from the Shazwi, hitting on 5s, getting 4 hits. Strength 3 versus Toughness 6 means wounding on 6s, getting 2 wounds. 2 3-up armor saves, passing both. Going into the morale phase, this squad of 9 Fire Warriors lost 1 model this turn, but the Shazwi has leadership of 7, so it is impossible for them to fail. This squad of 4 Pathfinders lost 6 models this turn, and the Shazwi has a leadership of 7, so they will fail on a 2, 3, 4, or 5, but will pass on a 6 thanks to Bonding Knife Ritual. And so here's the morale check roll, rolling a 3. So the Pathfinder Shazwi and 1 Ion Rifle will be killed off, leaving 2 models left alive in the squad. Finally, this squad of Chaos Cultists lost 6 models this turn, and the Cultist Champion has a leadership of 6, so they will automatically fail, but the dice roll will determine how many models are lost. And so here's the morale check roll, rolling a 4, which will wipe out the squad, so the World Eaters will use their final command point going from 1 down to 0 for a command reroll to reroll it. And here's the reroll, now only rolling a 2. So 2 more cultists are killed off, leaving 2 left alive in the squad. Taking a look at the tactical objective cards, thanks to that Pathfinder squad surviving, the World Eaters failed to complete Blood and Guts. However, the World Eaters are now 1 turn into defending Objective 4, and so they will hold on to both objective cards. And so at the end of World Eaters turn 2, the score currently sits at 0 victory points for the World Eaters and 1 victory point for the Tau Empire. Going into Tau Empire turn 2, a reminder that the Tau Empire have 4 command points available, and the World Eaters have 0 command points available. At the beginning of the turn, the Tau Empire drew 2 new tactical objective cards, and they drew Secure Objective 4, score 1 victory point if you control Objective Marker 4 at the end of your turn, and Defend Objective 3, score 2 victory points if you control Objective Marker 3 at the end of 2 consecutive turns. And Objective Marker 4 is this one right here, currently being controlled by a squad of 10 Chaos Cultists. And Objective Marker 3 is this one right here, also currently being controlled by a squad of 10 Chaos Cultists. Going into the movement phase, both Storm Surges will remain still. This squad of 9 Fire Warriors sitting on Objective Marker 2 will remain still. This squad of 10 Pathfinders will remain still. This Cadre Fireblade will remain still. The Warlord Commander will move up to 8 inches. This Cadre Fireblade will remain still. This squad of 10 Fire Warriors will remain still. This squad of 2 Pathfinders will fall back up to 6 inches. And finally, this squad of 10 Pathfinders will fall back up to 6 inches. Going into the shooting phase, we will begin with this Cadre Fireblade firing a marker light onto the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with wings. One shot hitting on a 2, and it hits. So the Demon Prince of Khorne will go from having 0 marker lights on it up to 1. So now the commander will fire its 2 missile pods into the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with wings. 4 shots total, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s thanks to the marker light, getting 3 hits and 1 reroll. And here's the reroll. Getting a 4th hit. Strength 7 versus Toughness 6 means wounding on 3s. Getting 3 wounds. Minus 2 AP thanks to the advanced targeting system, so 3 5 up invulnerable saves. Passing 1 but failing 2. And they are D3 damage apiece. And that will only do 2 damage. So the Tau Empire will use 1 command point going from 4 down to 3 for a command reroll to reroll the 2. And here's the reroll, still only rolling a 1. So the Demon Prince will fall from 4 wounds down to 2 left. And so the Tau Empire will use the stratagem Focused Fire for 3 command points, bring them from 3 down to 0. Use this stratagem after a Tau-Sept unit from your army inflicts an unsaved wound on an enemy unit in the shooting phase. You can add 1 to wound rolls for any other Tau-Sept units from your army that target the same enemy unit this phase. And this will be used against the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with wings. Next, this squad of 9 Fire Warriors will all shoot their pulse rifles in rapid fire range into this squad of 2 Chaos Cultists. 18 shots, hitting on 4s, getting 8 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on 3s, getting 6 wounds. No AP, so 6 up armor saves, failing all 6. So these 2 cultists will be killed off. And that squad is wiped out. This squad of 10 Pathfinders will fire all of their marker lights into this squad of 3 Mutilators. So 10 shots hitting on 4s, getting 7 hits. So this squad of Mutilators will go up from having 0 marker lights on it up to 7. This fully healthy Storm Surge is going to fire its 2 burst cannons and its 2 smart missile systems into the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with wings, and it will fire its pulse driver cannon and cluster rocket system into this squad of Mutilators. And we will begin with the various weapons going into the Mutilators, beginning with the pulse driver cannon, which will fire D6 shots, getting 5 shots, hitting on 2s thanks to the marker lights and stabilizing anchors, and rerolling 1s thanks to marker lights as well, so getting 2 hits and 3 rerolls. And here's the rerolls, getting all 5 hits. Strength 10 versus Toughness 4 means wounding on 2s, getting 4 wounds. Minus 4 AP thanks to the advanced targeting system, so 4 5 up invulnerable saves. Passing 3 and failing 1. But it will do D6 damage, and it will do 3 damage. So 1 Mutilator will be killed off, because they only have 3 wounds base. Now for the cluster rocket system, 4 D6 shots, getting 15 shots, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, getting 14 hits and 1 reroll. And here's the reroll, getting all 15 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 4 means wounding on 3s, getting 9 wounds. Minus 1 AP, so 9 3-up armor saves. Passing 6 but failing 3. So 1 more Mutilator will be fully killed off, leaving 1 left alive in the squad. 8 shots from the 2 burst cannons into the Demon Prince, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, getting 4 hits and 2 rerolls. And here's the rerolls, getting 6 hits total. Strength 5 versus Toughness 6 means wounding on 5s, but adding 1 thanks to the stratagem, so actually wounding on 4s. And a good thing too, getting 4 wounds. Minus 1 AP, so 4 4-up armor saves, passing 2 and failing 2. And so that will finish off the final 2 wounds on the Warlord Demon Prince of Khorne with wings, which will kill him off, which means that the Tau Empire will achieve Slay the Warlord, and also the 2 smart missile systems on that Storm Surge will go to waste. Now this squad of 10 Fire Warriors will all fire their pulse rifles in rapid fire range into the Lone Mutilator. 30 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, thanks to the marker lights, getting 18 hits and 7 rerolls. And here's the 7 rerolls, getting only an additional 3 hits for 21 hits total. Strength 5 versus Toughness 4 means wounding on 3s, getting 16 wounds. No AP, so 16 2-up armor saves, passing 13 but failing 3. And so the Lone Mutilator is finished off. and that squad is wiped out. Next, this Cadre Fireblade will fire a Marker Light into Karn the Betrayer. One shot hitting on a 2, and it fails to hit. Finally, the Wounded Storm Surge will fire its Pulse Driver Cannon into this squad of 10 Chaos Cultists sitting on Objective Marker 4, and then it will fire its 2 burst cannons, 2 smart missile systems, and cluster rocket system into Karn the Betrayer, beginning with the Pulse Driver Cannon, which will fire D6 shots, getting 1 shot, hitting on a 3, and it hits. Strength 10 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on a 2, and it wounds. Minus 4 AP thanks to the advanced targeting system, so even with being in the crater, the cultist will not get an armor save. So 1 regular cultist will be killed off, leaving 9 left alive in the squad. 8 shots from the 2 burst cannons into Karn the Betrayer, hitting on 3s, getting 4 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 4 means wounding on 3s, getting 2 wounds. Minus 1 AP thanks to the advanced targeting system, so 2 4-up armor saves, passing 1 and failing 1. They also could have been 4-up invulnerable saves, but either way, failing 1 of them, so Karn the Betrayer will fall from 5 starting wounds down to 4. 8 shots from the 2 smart missile systems, hitting on 3s, getting 6 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 4 means wounding on 3s, getting 4 wounds. Minus 1 AP, so 4-up invulnerable saves, passing 1 but failing 3. So Karn the Betrayer will fall from 4 wounds down to 1 left. Finally, 4 D6 shots from the cluster rocket system, getting 14 shots, hitting on 3s, getting 9 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 4 means wounding on 3s, getting all 9 wounds. Minus 1 AP, so 9 4-up armor saves. And he passed all 9 of them. So apparently when we call them 4-up armor saves, he passes them. When we call them 4-up invulnerable saves, he fails a bunch of them. Very interesting. So Karn the Betrayer will somehow make it out alive. Going into the morale phase, this squad of Chaos Cultists lost 1 model this turn, and the Cultist Champion has a leadership of 6, so they could fail on a roll of a 6. And here's the morale check roll. Rolling a 4, so they pass and nothing happens. And so taking a look at the tactical objective cards, the Tau Empire failed to complete Secure Objective 4, and they also failed to begin to defend Objective 3, and at this point, they will throw Defend Objective 3 away. At the end of Tau Empire turn 2, the score currently sits at 2 victory points for the Tau Empire and 0 victory points for the World Eaters. Going into World Eaters turn 3, a reminder that the World Eaters have 0 command points available, and the Tau Empire also have 0 command points available. A reminder that the World Eaters are currently holding on to the tactical objective cards Blood and Guts and Defend Objective 4, and remember that the World Eaters are currently 1 turn into defending Objective 4, and so they drew a 3rd tactical objective card, which is Witch Hunter. Score 1 victory point if at least 1 enemy Psyker was destroyed during this turn. This is an Annihilation tactical objective type, so the World Eaters will be forced to hold on to this tactical objective card for the rest of the game, even though the Tau Empire have no Psykers to kill. Also, a reminder that Objective Marker 4 is this one right here, currently being controlled by a squad of 9 Chaos Cultists. And so going into the movement phase, this squad of 9 Chaos Cultists controlling Objective Marker 4 will remain still. This squad of 10 Chaos Cultists controlling Objective Marker 3 will also remain still. Finally, Karn the Betrayer will move up to 6 inches. Going into the shooting phase, Karn the Betrayer will fire his special plasma pistol into this squad of 10 Fire Warriors. 1 shot, hitting on a 2, rerolling 1s thanks to himself, getting a reroll. And here's the reroll, getting a hit. Strength 8 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on a 2, and it wounds. Minus 3 AP, so the Fire Warriors will not get an armor save. So 1 Fire Warrior will be killed off, leaving 9 models left alive in the squad. Going into the assault phase, there is 1 charge to declare, which will be from Karn the Betrayer, charging into the squad of 9 Fire Warriors. Unfortunately for the World Eaters, the squad of Fire Warriors will be able to overwatch, and so will the Warlord Commander, who is just within 6 inches of the squad of Fire Warriors. But we will begin with the squad of Fire Warriors. There are 9 pulse rifles in rapid fire range, but no Cadre Fireblades within 6 inches, so 18 shots total, hitting on 5s and 6s, getting only 3 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 4 means wounding on 3s, getting 2 wounds. No AP, so 2 3-up armor saves, passing both. Now the commander will fire his 2 missile pods in Overwatch, 4 shots total, hitting on 5s and 6s, getting 1 hit. Strength 7 versus toughness 4 means wounding on 3, and it fails to wound. Now for the charge range, Karn the Betrayer is just over 4 inches away from the nearest fire warrior in the squad, so he will need to roll a 4 or higher to make it within an inch. So if this rolls a 2 or a 3, he will fail to charge, but rolling a 6, so he will make it in. So a 6-inch charge is more than enough. So going into the fight phase, we will begin by having Karn the Betrayer pile in up to 3 inches. And now he will place his attacks onto the Fire Warriors. 7 attacks with Gore Child on the charge, hitting on 2s. Getting 6 hits. Strength 6 versus toughness 3 means wounding on 2s. Getting 5 wounds, and it is minus 4 AP, so no armor save on the Fire Warriors. So 5 Fire Warriors will be killed off, leaving 4 Fire Warriors left alive in the squad. But Karn the Betrayer is able to fight twice in the fight phase. So now we will resolve the second round of attacks from Karn the Betrayer into the Fire Warriors. So once again, 7 attacks with Gore Child, hitting on 2s, getting 6 hits. Strength 6 versus toughness 3 means wounding on 2s. Once again, getting 5 wounds at minus 4 AP, so no armor save. And so this squad of 4 Fire Warriors will be wiped out. And now Karn the Betrayer will consolidate up to 3 inches. And he is now locked in combat with the Storm Surge, who cannot fight because its stabilizing anchors are deployed. So going into the morale phase, there are no morale checks to take. And so taking a look at the tactical objective cards, the World Eaters did successfully complete Blood and Guts for 1 victory point thanks to killing the squad of Fire Warriors. They also finished defending Objective 4 for 2 victory points. And they failed to complete Witch Hunter, but they will hold on to it so that they don't have to lose a victory point. And so at the end of World Eaters Turn 3, the score currently sits at 3 victory points for the World Eaters and 2 victory points for the Tau Empire. Going into Tau Empire Turn 3, a reminder that the Tau Empire have 0 command points available, and the World Eaters also have 0 command points available. At the beginning of the turn, a reminder that the Tau Empire are still holding on to the tactical objective card Secure Objective 4, and so the Tau also drew 2 new tactical objective cards, and they drew Orders Received. When this tactical objective is generated, immediately generate a bonus tactical objective. This does not count towards the number of active tactical objectives you currently have in play. Your Warlord is the only unit that can be used to achieve the bonus tactical objective. They must be the only unit used to control an objective marker, the unit that destroys the last model in an enemy unit, and so on. If you achieve this, you score both the number of victory points stated on the bonus tactical objective and an additional 3 victory points. If this tactical objective is discarded, so too is the bonus tactical objective. And the bonus tactical objective card is Secure Objective 6. Score 1 victory point if you control objective marker 6 at the end of your turn. Finally, they drew Overwhelming Firepower. Score 1 victory point if an enemy unit was destroyed during the shooting phase of your turn. If 3 or more enemy units were destroyed during the shooting phase of your turn, score D3 victory points instead. Objective Marker 4 is this one right here, currently being controlled by a squad of 9 Chaos Cultists. And Objective Marker 6 is this one right here, currently not being controlled by anybody. Going into the movement phase, this squad of 10 Fire Warriors will move up to 6 inches. This Cadre Fireblade will move up to 6 inches. The Commander will move up to 8 inches. The Wounded Storm Surge will now fall back up to 6 inches, meaning that its stabilizing anchors will be retracted. The fully healthy Storm Surge will remain still, since its stabilizing anchors are still deployed. This squad of 9 Fire Warriors will remain still. This Cadre Fireblade will remain still. This squad of 10 Pathfinders will remain still. The squad of 2 Pathfinders with ion rifles will also remain still. Going into the shooting phase, this squad of 10 Pathfinders will fire 10 marker lights into Karn the Betrayer. 10 shots hitting on 4s, getting 5 hits. So Karn the Betrayer will go from having 0 marker lights on him up to 5. Now the 2 ion rifles will fire overcharge shots into Karn the Betrayer. D3 shots apiece. One rifle will get 1 shot, the other rifle will get 2.
And they do have to be done separately when it comes to hit rolls, so beginning with the ion rifle with 1 shot, hitting on a 3 rerolling 1s, thanks to marker lights, failing to hit. Now for the ion rifle with 2 shots, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, getting a hit and a reroll. And here's the reroll, getting 2 hits. Strength 8 versus Toughness 4 means wounding on 2s, and rolling snake eyes, so failing to wound. This Cadre Fire Blade will fire its pulse rifle in rapid fire range into Karn the Betrayer. 3 shots since he's in rapid fire range, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, getting 3 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 4 means wounding on 3s, getting 3 wounds. No AP, so 3 up armor saves. Passing 2 but failing 1. So Karn the Betrayer will lose his last wound and be killed off and removed. This squad of 9 fire warriors is not within 30-inch range of any enemy units, and so they will not be able to fire. This Cadre Fireblade will fire a marker light into this squad of 10 Chaos Cultists. 1 shot, hitting on a 3, since he moved, getting a hit. So this squad of 10 Chaos Cultists will go up from having no marker lights on them to 1. This squad of 10 Fire Warriors are all within 30-inch range, and so they will fire their pulse rifles into the squad of 10 Chaos Cultists. 10 shots, hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s, hitting 4 hits and 3 rerolls. And here's the rerolls, getting 2 additional hits for 6 hits total. Strength 5 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on 3s, getting 3 wounds. No AP but +1 thanks to the crater, so 3 5-up armor saves, passing 2 and failing 1. So 1 cultist will go down, leaving 9 left alive in the squad. The Warlord Commander is within 36 inches, so he will fire his 2 missile pods into this squad of 9 Chaos Cultists. 4 shots from the 2 missile pods, hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s thanks to the marker light, getting 3 hits and 1 reroll. And here's the reroll, still failing to hit. Strength 7 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on 2s, getting 2 wounds, and they are -2 AP thanks to the advanced targeting system, so no armor save on the cultists. And not that it matters, but they do D3 damage apiece. One will do 1, the other will do 2. So 2 more cultists are killed off, leaving 7 left alive in the squad. The wounded Storm Surge, which retracted its anchors and fell back, will fire its cluster rocket system into the squad of 7 Chaos Cultists, and it will fire its pulse driver cannon into this squad of 9 Chaos Cultists. Beginning with the cluster rocket system, 4 D6 shots, getting only 10 shots. 10 shots hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s, getting 5 hits. Strength 5 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on 3s. And that's a really bad roll, getting 1 wound. -1 AP thanks to the advanced targeting system, but +1 thanks to the crater. So 1 6-up armor save, which fails. So 1 more cultist is killed off, leaving 6 models left alive in the squad. And now for the pulse driver cannon into the other cultist squad. D6 shots, getting 2 shots, hitting on 4s, no rerolls, getting 1 hit. Strength 10 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on a 2, and it wounds, and -4 AP, so no armor save, even though the cultists are in the crater. So 1 cultist will go down, leaving 8 left alive in the squad. Finally, the fully healthy Storm Surge will do the exact same thing. Cluster rocket system will fire into this squad of 6 cultists, and the pulse driver cannon will fire into this squad of 8 cultists. Beginning with the cluster rocket system, 4 D6 shots, getting 18 shots. 18 shots hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s thanks to still having its anchors deployed. Getting 12 hits and 3 rerolls. And here's the rerolls, getting 13 hits total. Strength 5 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on 3s, getting 6 wounds. -1 AP, but +1 thanks to the crater, so 6-up armor saves. Passing 3 and failing 3. So 3 more cultists will go down, leaving 3 left alive in the squad. Finally, D6 shots from the pulse driver cannon, getting 4 shots. Hitting on 3s thanks to the anchor, getting 3 hits. Strength 10 versus Toughness 3 means wounding on 2s, getting 2 wounds. -4 AP, so no armor save even though they're in a crater. So 2 more cultists will go down, leaving 6 left alive in the squad. At the end of the shooting phase, this Storm Surge will redeploy its stabilizing anchors. And so going into the assault phase, there are no charges to declare, which means going into the fight phase, there are no fights to resolve. However, going into the morale phase, this squad of cultists lost 7 models this turn, and the cultist champion only has a leadership of 6. And here's their morale check roll, rolling a 3, which means that the final 3 members of the squad will be wiped out. And finally, this squad of cultists lost 3 models this turn, and the cultist champion has a leadership of 6, so they could fail on a 4-up. And here's the morale check roll, and they do roll a 5. So 2 more cultists are removed, leaving only 4 left alive in the squad. And so taking a look at the tactical objective cards, the Tau Empire failed to complete Secure Objective 4, they failed to complete Orders Received, Secure Objective 6, but they did successfully complete Overwhelming Firepower for 1 victory point. And at this point, the Tau Empire will throw Orders Received, Secure Objective 6 away.
And so at the end of Tau Empire turn 3, the score currently sits at 3 victory points for the Tau Empire and 3 victory points for the World Eaters. Going into World Eaters turn 4, a reminder that the World Eaters have 0 command points available, and the Tau Empire also have 0 command points available.
At the start of the turn, a reminder that the World Eaters are currently holding on to the tactical objective card Witch Hunter, and so they need to draw 3 new tactical objective cards to get them up to a total of 4, and they drew Defend Objective 6, score 2 victory points if you control Objective Marker 6 at the end of 2 consecutive turns, Domination, score D3 plus 3 victory points if you control every objective marker on the battlefield at the end of your turn, and Kingslayer, score D3 victory points if your opponent's warlord has been destroyed during this or any previous turn. And objective marker 6 is this one right here, currently not being controlled by anybody. And so at this point, the World Eaters are going to concede the game. Neither side will achieve Line Breaker, and neither side achieved any Annihilation tactical objective type cards, so no extra victory points for that. And so we will have a final score of 3 victory points for the World Eaters and 3 victory points for the Tau Empire, with a major victory for the Tau Empire thanks to a World Eaters concession at the beginning of World Eaters turn 4. And so now that the game is over, I can go over 1 or 2 of my final thoughts on this particular game. First and foremost, of course, is the main reason for concession, which should be blatantly obvious at this point, but the game was over at the end of Battle Round 1, if we're all perfectly honest. The World Eaters really had no chance to even try to attempt to catch up at that point, losing both the Chaos Land Raider and the Khorne Lord of Skulls in turn 1, and the fact that after 3 full battle rounds, they have 4 cultists left on the table and that's it, means that the Tau really should have no problem tabling them in Tau Empire turn 4, and there's nothing that the cultists can do this turn to even try to put any wounds onto the Tau. So there's no point in playing out this game. There really wasn't a point in playing out the game after turn 1, but I did state in the pregame show that was released at the beginning of the group that I would play each game out through the end of Battle Round 3 unless an army was tabled. But the victor really was kind of determined right from the get-go after Battle Round 1 with how poor the World Eaters fared in their first turn and how amazingly destructive the Tau shooting was in their first turn. I think the fact that the World Eaters slightly delayed the inevitable by having the 1 cultist squad come back to life at full health in the Tau deployment zone didn't actually help them as much as I thought it was going to, because they failed their charge, and then the squad of fire warriors that couldn't shoot anything else anyways ended up finishing them off. So that really did nothing but use 2 command points that the World Eaters could have used elsewhere. I will say it was slightly unfortunate in that first Tau shooting phase. The World Eaters probably should have used a command point at some point to try to negate some sort of damage on that Khorne Lord of Skulls, but the problem was there was not a obvious spot to use it. I really should have used a command point probably with the damage taken from the ion rifles, because those did 2 damage apiece and could have potentially saved one of them. But I was saving the command points to be used against the pulse driver cannons, but the Tau ended up not needing to use either pulse driver cannon against the Lord of Skulls. And so unfortunately there wasn't an obvious opportunity to use a command point in that shooting phase. And same with the Land Raider. They potentially could have used a command point to negate one of the 1 damage attacks done against it, but it really wouldn't have been a good idea to use a command point against the pulse driver cannons against the Land Raider because he only had a 6-up armor save. save and not a 5-up invuln or something better. So the World Eaters probably shouldn't have used the stratagem to bring back that squad of cultists, and they probably, in fact, should have just let it die in the morale phase and saved the command points and not used Insane Bravery as well. Would have saved them a total of 4 command points, and they didn't really get anything out of it. I was kind of hoping that the World Eaters would draw Secure Objective Marker 6 at that point, so that that cultist squad could have gotten a free victory point from staying alive, but it ended up not working out that way. So overall, throughout the course of the battle, the Tau were very dominant. In fact, had Karn not consolidated into combat with the Storm Surge, it might have made it possible for the wounded Storm Surge to do an extra wound or 2 against that squad of cultists, which then, because they already failed their morale test, that might have been enough to finish off the squad as a whole. With a couple extra wounds from the Storm Surge, if they had rolled the same morale test, would have ended up losing more models because of it, because they would have failed the morale test that much worse. So overall, very dominant game from the Tau, very underwhelming performance from the World Eaters. The only bright side for the World Eaters is that they were able to achieve the same number of victory points. So overall, the Tau did not gain any victory points on the World Eaters, which could potentially help at the end of the group when determining where the placement of the armies are, but we'll have to wait and see on that. So I really hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.